episode of Betty Adams Discusses. I am here with...
It's me, Grim.
Going back to chapter 48,
Yeah.
This is something that I, as a biologist, my brain's been kind of harping on it. But Matsumoto made a big deal in previous chapters about how chubby Kafka was.
Yeah, he's not exactly built like these young officers, is he?
But he is though now.
He is now.
the fist bump scene. Look at that fist bump scene. He's barely wider across the waist than Kikoru.
Oh yeah, he's definitely slim.
Yeah, and he's been getting slimmer, and there's even a bit of a thigh gap there. Kafka's in the past, basically 6 days. Because remember, it was, well, we don't know how long he was in the tank, but we can assume it's been probably less than 2 weeks since he knocked that bomb into the stratosphere in universe. Mm-hmm. Because Kikoru hadn't been transferred yet, and they transferred all the rookies immediately after the attack.
Yeah, I don't think it's been too long. I mean,
but
I don't think they really said how much time has passed since he kind of joined up with Narumi's team. Like, I don't know if there was a small gap between then and now, but yeah, I don't think it's been long at all.
Yeah, so it was 5 days between the time he had that talk with General Director Shinomiya after getting out of the tank and when he was assigned to Narumi's team.
Right.
So, and we don't know how long it's been since then, as you said, but it hasn't been long.
No,
but
I don't think so.
The story made a big deal out of, even when he was actively exercising, actively using the Kaiju number 8 body, between when he first started and before he punched the bomb, he basically couldn't shake that middle-aged chubbiness. But then he punches the bomb, and almost immediately he slims down significantly. Then, in this next picture, after he's used the Kaiju number 8 body pretty extensively in this battle, and more than he ever has, he's suddenly noticeably slimmer. And I really think we're going to be looking at, I think that the Kaiju number 8 body is feeding off of Kafka's mass for the energy it takes to do those like fancy jet rockets and stuff.
Yeah.
And from the shrinking, Kafka doesn't have too much longer before the Kaiju number 8 is going to have to start either tapping his central nervous system for fat or start eating his muscles, both of which can have massively consequential negative effects on your health.
Yeah.
High activity while going into starvation mode is tremendously destructive. So I think we might be getting like a sub-arc dealing with where Kaiju number 8 gets its power from and how that's going to be affecting Kafka's body.
Yeah, that'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope so anyway. That would be a tremendous attention to detail on Matsumoto's part.
I feel like that's something that could definitely come at some point. Because it'd just be interesting to find out what really makes it tick. I mean, I suppose you could look at it another way as well. We've recently seen, obviously, that Kafka's control over Kaiju number 8, or rather, Kafka's understanding of how the body works has now improved to the point that's made him a lot stronger, or at least a lot more sort of combat ready. So it could also be that, you know, where he now has this knowledge, he's also subconsciously controlling his own body better. So, you know, now his fat is burning, he's burning more calories, he's building more muscle, almost like without having to do anything.
Yeah. So one thing that I really, really hope we get to see is a situation where Kafka is temporarily taken out of the equation and for a more prolonged period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to see what the little guy does when it has full control of the body in a non-life-threatening situation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see.
So, because the only time we've seen the little guy take control, they were literally about to be killed by Director Shinomiya. Very intense situation, life or death. The little guy was acting on a complete fear reflex, self-preservation. Mm-hmm. And we know that there is intelligence there. There's speech, there's the potential for, at least we've seen the emotions of satisfaction and fear. And I really want to know more about the mental capacity of the little guy. So
Same.
I'd just love to see like an arc where number 9 manages to use a weapon that shorts out human nervous systems and knocks Kafka out of the picture for a couple days.
Yeah, it takes him out of the picture in some way, just so we could see something like that.
So I'd imagine that it'd leave the kaiju number 8 body intact, but it with little guy's brain in control.
I mean, I have no idea how Matsumoto is going to do it, but he, you know, a point definitely has to come, or rather, a time definitely has to come when we get more of an explanation on the little guy and, you know, what it can do.
Yeah, because there's just this, it's so easy to get caught up in the hype and the story and the fighting and the plot and the current plot. There's still that massive question. Where'd the little guy come from? What's its goal? Who sent it? And
the major questions.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a question. There's obviously, every story has a limit. There's only so much stuff you can go into. The Matsumoto has not come from. What's its goal? Who sent it? And
the major questions.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a question. There's obviously, every story has a limit. There's only so much stuff you can go into. The Matsumoto has not shown the Defense Force showing any real curiosity about how the integration of the little guy and Kaiju number 8 and Kafka works. And Kafka was apparently left alone in his cell for 5 days with nothing to do but do push-ups in basically isolation. But there are a tremendous amount of psychological tests, physiological tests.
Yeah, things I didn't really...
Even running the same basic IQ test he would have had to take to apply over again would give them a tremendous amount of information, but they're not doing it.
Yeah.
And so, or at least we're not being shown them doing it.
Yeah, I mean...
Any thoughts on why Matsumoto has chosen to leave that element out of the story?
It could just be that there's a lot of information there that he doesn't want us to know yet. I know, obviously, when at a certain point, they did kind of show that, you know, that he clearly had tests done on him because of the core replacement to his heart. So we know that they did tests, so it could just be that there's some information that he doesn't want us to know yet, with fear that we'll put 2 and 2 together. But yeah, I mean, that could be the only thing that I can think of, is that there's certain things maybe about him that would mean nothing to the Defense Force, but might mean more to us, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that would push the story along too quickly.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. I have so much fun.
Oh yeah, me too. I do every time. Thank you for having me.
All right. Plug your plugs.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you if you've still been listening this far. I'm Grimsabr, but you can call me Grim. I have my own YouTube channel where I talk about anime and manga all the time. Lots to do with Kaiju number 8. So if you are a fan of this series, feel free to hop on over and check out my videos. I do a lot of chapter reviews. So yeah, other than that, thanks for joining us.
All right. Peace out, my wonderful viewers. Humans are weird. We took a vote, and humans are weird. I have the data. 2 books in a series of human absurdity. Go check out these short story collections. What will our little green friends think of us when we finally do make it to space? Find out the answer in 2 books of human absurdity. Humans are weird, we took a vote, and humans are weird, I have the data. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, and Google Play.